My name is Esko Kilpi. Thank you for allowing me to share our research with you. Actually, contrary to many others, we don't think that work is changing. Work has always been and will always be solving other people's problems. How we define the problems, that changes, and there are new solutions to old problems. That's also going to change. Henry Ford actually tells us a story in his autobiography about the problem that he wanted to solve. His problem definition was that he wanted to help farmers to get their goods out to markets to be sold. And as we know, his solution to this problem was such a brilliant one that there was a time when half of all the cars in the world were T-model Fords. Now, what has changed? We know that today there are many problems without a mass solution. And we also know that we don't need to package value into products or services. There are other ways to solve problems together with our customers. Also, what is changing today is the very basics of what a firm is or what an organization is. As has been widely discussed, the Gaussian logic of doing stuff internally with less friction than out in the markets is turning upside down into understanding that the markets that used to be rigid and with a lot of friction outside are now today super fluid. And of course, the big question now for firms and for management inside firms is, can our agency costs actually go down enough to meet the superfluid environments of modern markets? I don't think so. I think actually that we need new governance models, we need new forms for corporations that don't mimic the industrial corporation. Also, what is changing is our tools. Human beings have always made tools, and we are to a large extent more productive and specifically more intelligent because of our more intelligent tools. If you think about the factories of today, they don't look like the factories of Henry Ford. They look like the smart devices we carry in our pockets. Now, if we think about this as a factory, the price of this factory actually today, which is a couple of €100, was 10 years ago. If you think about the computing power of this mini factory, the price of it was 10 years ago over €1 million. The price of this same factory 20 years ago was 10 million euros. Now, what I claim is that the way we do things inside corporations and the way we create value hasn't changed enough. So there's a tremendous opportunity for learning, and there's a tremendous learning depth inside organizations. And to us, it means that we need to rethink very many issues. For example, if we start from the basic mass industrial logic that products are there to meet the needs of customers. Now, we know today, and there's a lot of academic research on this, that different customers have very different experiences regarding this value. One customer experiences more value and the other customer experiences less value. And that, as many in this room already have known for quite some time, means that corporations don't create value for their customers. It's the way the customers use the products that create value. Now, the implication is really huge, because it then means is that it's not us creating ideas and innovations that then we make and sell to the customers. But actually work itself changes from a transactional relationship into an interactional relationship. So work is interaction between interdependent people. And work changes into context-specific definition of problems that then might be scaled up in the wider network, and context-specific solutions to those problem definitions. Now, also what the price going down means is that as the first industrial revolution, the time of Henry Ford, what happened then was a tremendous, you could say, democratization of consumption. The earlier very expensive things became possible for normal human beings to buy. The things that used to be only possible for the rich people were possible for the wider groups of people. So consumption democratized. But what takes place today is that the capacity to produce is being democratized. So there's a huge revolution going on when it comes to production capabilities. A small firm can do today things that only big firms could do in the past, or a few individuals coming together can do things that required a firm or an organization just a few years ago. So it is about democratization of opportunity. Now the problem for us is that the way we see firms have been based on kind of two relationships. One is the employer-employee relationship, and the other one is the manager-worker relationship. And both of these are, by definition, asymmetric. And there's a very large academic body of research about asymmetric relationships, but there is less understanding and research on symmetric relations. Now, what if a worker doesn't need an employer? What if a worker needs a customer? Then the relationship is always symmetric. And what if in the networks of value creation, all relations are going to be symmetric and all organizations are going to be open? And this means that we don't have enough understanding, we don't have enough research, we don't have enough experiments of symmetry, democratic relations at work. So that's going to be, at least to us, one of the major fields of study the coming few years. Also, what we see as dramatic changes in our social innovations is actually the principle that comes from Charles Dickens. And Charles Dickens famously said that when he described the time of the French Revolution, that it was the best of times and the worst of times. Now, for many of us in this room, it is the best of times. But for too many people outside this room, it's the worst of times. And that has led to many firms, many organizations, and many leaders to see that business decisions are always moral decisions. So as the political system is losing grip in many countries, firms are raising up to the occasion. And to us it means that we need to understand that what we do is about ethics and morals. So basically it's a question of what kind of problems we solve, what kind of questions we ask. Thank you.